Good day, everyone. Coach Jason here, and this is going to be one of the most important videos I ever created. Why? Over the last few weeks, we have been bombarded with request after request, and you'll be surprised that it's not persons trying to lose weight. In fact, it's persons trying to get rid and reverse their diseases. Now, we have been seeing a lot of different diseases, and in fact, most of the reach outs, most of the contacts we have is about disease reversal. Now, I'm going to stop losing weight. No, I'm not going to stop teaching you guys how to lose weight, but I want to create a video. Now, this video will serve as the foundation because it's going to be one of the most important training I will ever do. You guys know that I'm all about empowering you through education, and I want to start here. So I trust that before you come to see us for a consultation, before you come to see us, everybody would have watched this video, so at least you have the basic foundation down pat. Now, we've been seeing a lot of fatty livers. We have been seeing a lot of PCOS, fibroids, diabetes, high cholesterol, high blood pressure, menopausal issues such as hormonal imbalances. And so I want to give you guys a tool that would really help you when it comes to reversing your disease, or at least understanding where this disease is coming from, and it will help us better when we come to help you to reverse your disease. So pay attention. Whatever you're doing right now, I want you to stop, get your pen, get your paper out, take some notes. There'll be some resources at the end so that you guys could download and use. Now, that being said, let's jump right into it. Now, I'm going to share my screen because I really need this information to get out to you. So I'm going to share my screen. Let me go ahead and do that. Now, you guys are seeing something on my screen. Think of this as your roadmap. This right here is going to be your roadmap. You will hear me teach this over and over again, and I'll be doing a lot of instruction this time. I'm going to be doing an instructional video. Now, it says that disease is an effort of nature to free the system from conditions that result from the violation of the laws of health. Disease. Now let's pay attention here. Disease, it says, let's put a line on that, is an effort of nature to free the system from what? What are we being freed from? From conditions. Now the question we have to ask, how did these conditions come about? These conditions came about from a violation of what? The laws of health. Now stick with me, guys. Stick with me. So this word here, disease, can be replaced with hypertension. It can be replaced with fibroids. It can be replaced with PCOS. It can be replaced with high cholesterol. So any of these can be replaced here. And it is telling us that this came about because the system was trying to free itself from conditions that result from the violation of the laws of health. Now let me move to this one. So what you would realize, and let's come on, guys. I really want you guys to get this one. Disease, this is the end product. So when you are diagnosed with anything, with any disease, that is the end product. Keep this in mind. Before we got here, there was a sequence of events that you guys will see here. And let's just draw, and you can see the arrow coming here. There was a sequence of events that led us to this. So the first thing that happened was the system was trying to free itself. The system was freeing itself from conditions. Now, how did these conditions come about? By a violation of what? The laws of health. So in the next way of putting this, if there is no system freeing, pay attention now, there can be no disease, correct? Right. If there is no conditions, there can be no system free, and there will be no need to free the system. And if there is no system free, there is no disease. Now, if there is no violation, there will be no condition, which means there will be no need for a system to free itself, which means the disease will never form. So it means that whatever you are experiencing right now in terms of your disease, whatever it is, it came there because of a violation of the laws of health. Now let me bring a pin here. I want you guys to see this. This right here, conditions. And as I said, guys, I'll be doing some teaching. This here, conditions, this is very important. Why? Because this is the warning. This is the caution. This is, hey, something is wrong. Now, every condition does not have to progress to a disease. So if you see a condition showing up, like an elevated heart rate, or a higher than normal cholesterol reading or something like that, it does not mean that you are hypertensive or you have high cholesterol. A condition is there, like the warning lights on your phone when the battery is going low, you see a flashing light to tell you that something is wrong. Now from this, and let me stick a pin here. From this, let me bring back up my face. From this, you will now have to make a corrective action. So you went and take your blood pressure reading. It is showing 150/100. That is a condition that has presented as a warning. Something is wrong. Now, if, like your phone, you leave it untouched, you do not do anything about it, the phone will eventually die, right? Meaning that the battery will run out. Now, with this condition, once it shows up, if you do nothing about it, then it will move to the next step, which is freeing the system. Then the next step, which will be a full-blown disease, hypertension. Make sense? I want you guys to get this. This is very important, right? So that means we now have to get in the frame of mind of being in tune with our bodies, because we do not want to miss the warnings. And once we are in tune, once we hear the warnings, we then have to take action. And what action should we take? We'll be teaching you more about that. So now that you guys have gotten that part, there is something that comes up a lot. And it says here, the laws of health. So it would be wise for us to realize what these laws are, because everything starts here. The laws of health get violated, they create conditions, the system frees itself, you have a disease. With none of this, with the laws of health in place, then, or the laws of health understood, it will help to fix all of the problems. So let's move now to this law of health. And let us see what these laws of health are. Now, I've ticked them here. The first one is pure air. And don't worry, I'll go through these things one by one. As I say, for this specific video, this first one, I want it to be a basic training. I'm not going to be too long. I just want it to be a basic training so you guys understand what we are dealing with. I'm going to show you guys the sequence of every disease. Every single disease known to man, this is the sequence, right? So pure air, that's the first one. Sunlight, that's the second one. Abstemiousness, a next word for abstemiousness is what we call temperance, right? So let's just write it out there so you have a working definition. And let's just put that right there. Right, temperance. Right, so that's the next word for abstemiousness. The next one is rest. The next one is exercise, proper diet, the use of water, and trust in divine power. Now, put it in the comments below. What do you notice about all of these laws of health? I'm going to leave it up on the screen a little bit. What do you notice about these laws of health? Anyone? Go ahead, put it in the comment below. I know it's right there, so go and put it in the comment below. Now, if you said all of these laws of health are free and available, then you are correct. Think about it. Pure air, we do not have to pay for that. Sunlight, always available. Temperance, a choice that we make. Again, we decide how temperate we are, right? Rest, you don't have to pay for rest. For the most part, all of us have a place that we can sleep. Exercise, and I'm not talking about going to the gym. Now, I didn't say going to the gym, I said exercise, right? Exercise can be done right from home. And if you guys have been following me for any time, I've proven that to you time and time again. Proper diet. Now, proper diet. And you're going to say, well, diet is expensive. Eating healthy is expensive. It does not have to be. Again, if you've been following me for some time, I show you ways in which you can use things available at home to create healthy foods. Where diet becomes expensive, it's when you want to buy the pre-processed healthy foods. But the basic stuff, we're talking about our ground provision, our beans, all of these stuff, our vegetables, right? Right now in Simmons, vegetables is a little bit expensive, but again, I made a video a couple of weeks ago showing you guys how you can get your greens right from home and you do not even need a garden. So as I said, all of these are available. The use of water, we live in a place that we have free abundant water. Trust in divine power. All of these are available to every single one of us. And I want that is something I kind of want to stick there, right? It is available to every single one of us. And this is the next thing, guys. This is the next thing. Start with what is most practical for you. And again, let me pull this up. Let me show you guys something, right? You would notice, pay attention to this, that the laws of health move from easiest, right? Easiest, right? There's an S there. And then this is where it starts to get a little bit more challenging as you go along. Not necessarily challenging as in hard, but it is easiest to implement. So implementing pure air is just simply breathing more, putting plants in your home, going outside in the morning, inhaling, exhaling. I'm going to show you guys all of that as you stick along these series. Sunlight. Again, that's not hard. Spending some time in the sun. Okay, we all have to walk through the sun at some point in the day. How can we strategically use this time to improve our health? And if you notice, as you go up the ladder, it is just easy stuff. So what this was designed to do, and I know that this, by the way, this quotation was taken from Ministry of Healing, page 127, which is written by Sister Ellen G. White. So that's, I just want to make sure that you guys know exactly where that quotation came from in case you're trying to do more research. Okay? So if you look at these laws of health, they are so easy to implement. And what is going to happen when you implement pure air, when you start to breathe properly, when you start to use pure air, and you start to gain the benefits, then you will be like, okay, cool, let me try sunlight. And what is going to happen? Each law, when obeyed, is going to give you a result. That result is going to instill confidence in the system, and you're going to be more you are going to be more willing to move to the next law. And that's where it comes along. Now look at where exercise, the ones that most persons struggle with, and diet is. These are all the way down number 5 and 7. There is so much more before that. So by the time you get to exercise and diet, you have already had such a strong foundation, such a strong basis that it's going to be easy for you to implement. And guys, this is really what I want you guys to take away from this. This is a big takeaway point. It is not hard. It is not expensive. We just have to get it right and once we have the knowledge, that is what this is all about, guys. When I come out here, when I do these videos, it's about giving you guys the knowledge, giving you guys the tools so that you can go out and affect the change in your own life, right? So this is, let me bring this slide up because this, I think, is one of my favorite slides to bring this all together. So let's go ahead and bring it all together now. So we have dissected what diseases. Now, if you were to do like this, you were to draw a column. We have here 5 columns, right? So we have the laws of health, we have the violations, we have the conditions, we have the system freeing, and then we have the disease. Now, and I have some examples here I'm going to put in, right? I'm going to have some examples. So let's call the disease a cold, let's say hypertension, high cholesterol, diabetes, whatever the case is, right? So what you would also realize is that some of these diseases can be a violation of multiple laws of health. So sometimes it's not just one violation of the law of health will cause the disease, but multiple violations. So for example, pure air, you're violating law of pure air, you violating law of sunlight, proper diet. And then when you combine all of these now, you have the ideal condition for a disease. Okay, so let's go ahead and bring that back up so you guys can see that. And now we have it here. So I just want to give you guys some practical examples. So let's go with pure air. So let's say first of all that you live in a closed up environment. So like a closed apartment, the AC is always on, the windows are never open, right? So what AC does, AC recirculates the air and cools it down. But pay attention to this, AC recirculates the air. It does not take in fresh air. So that means that when you breathe out impurities, which you do, that's how you get rid of some of your impurities, by breathing out. So carbon dioxide is one that comes out. That gets picked up by the AC, it's cooled down and sent back to you, right? So let's just say the law of health here is pure air. In this case, it will be impure air, but it will just pure air as the law of health that we spoke about, right? Now, how do we violate it? By closed windows. And I want you guys to pay attention to this because this here applies for every single law of health, right? Now, close windows. Now, what are some of the conditions that will develop from this? So you could find yourself getting stuffy, or snuffy, right? You could find yourself getting stuffy, sorry. Let's just make a quick erase there. My spelling, let's work on that here. Right, stuffy, not snuffy, stuffy. Right, so let's go ahead. S-T-U-F-F-Y. So stuffy nose. Right, so that's a condition that shows up. Now, when the condition shows up, my nose is stuffy. You're right, I'm feeling stuffy in my nose. I have an option. I could just make some changes, start opening the windows, spending some more time outside. Or I could be like, well, that's just the body's normal reaction. Now, what would the body start to do when you have stuffy nose? There are a couple of things that your body will start to do. It will start to produce mucus, right? Which is a way of expelling some of the impurities inside. It may also start to signal a coughing reaction, right? It may also start to signal a wheezing reaction, because with stuffy nose, it means that not much oxygen is getting to the lungs, so your body is going to, which is why when you're wheezing, you're trying to make big grabs. Your body is trying to force air inside of your lungs. Again, left unchecked, this will then develop into a cold or even worse, asthma, right? So this was just a very simplified example of how this all ties together. So you guys saw how we built it. And let me just give you guys some more examples here so you can see how this all works. Now, we just talked about the asthma. Let's talk about hypertension. So one could be abstemiousness. Now, remember we said abstemiousness is temperance. Temperance means doing that which is good, only enough of it, and abstaining totally from that which is bad, right? So let's say you decide you are going to overwork. So when it is time to rest, you continue working. When you leave a job, you go to a next job, and you're just working. That violation is overwork. Now, as a result, your body is going to try to speed up its output via the heart to keep up with the demands. As a result, your blood pressure readings will start to show higher than normal. Now, you have an option. You could be like, okay, why for the last few weeks, my blood pressure readings has been high? And prior to this, I had normal blood pressure readings. Now, if you make a correction, you'll be like, okay, maybe I'm overworking, whatever the cases be. You make a change, then it doesn't have to progress any further. If no change is made, then the body starts to free itself. The body starts to find ways to get you to slow down. Some of those ways could be you start to feel more fatigue. You start to feel more tired. That's your body trying to tell you, hey, slow down. I am tired of overworking. You ignore that, you take a Rockstar, you take a Red Bull, you take coffee, then eventually you are going to develop consistent high blood pressure readings. You are going to develop hypertension. Now, hypertension was not the original intention, but because we miss all of the markers, all of the conditions, the system freeing, then we got to hypertension. Now, the next one, let's go for nutrition. So let's say proper diet. So proper diet, nutrition, we just interchange them there. Violation, we eat a lot of processed high-fat foods. Now, what happens? Our arteries start to get clogged up. How do you know your arteries are getting clogged up? When you start experiencing poor circulation. So your circulation in the legs, you're not getting proper circulation there. As also, you may do a blood check, a blood work, and realize that your LDL readings or your cholesterol readings are a little bit higher than normal. Now, again, you could make a change here, or you could leave it. As a result, more fat starts to get deposited because the body can no longer deal with all of the excess fat circulating in the blood, and so some of it starts to get deposits along your arterial wall, and you start to make that area, that arterial vessel, become smaller. As a result, when you take your readings, you have high cholesterol, and this could even go a step further. This could even cause things like heart attack, right? So I'm just write HA. You can even have a heart attack. You can have a stroke, which we are seeing a lot of right now, right? And all this started from where? High consumption of high-fat processed foods. We ignored the warning. The body started to do its own thing. It's like, okay, well, these guys are not helping me, so I've got to get rid of this fat from the blood because it's making my blood too sluggish. I'm going to start depositing this fat. I'm depositing in this fat in the arteries. I'm depositing in the liver, fatty liver. And as a result, this left unchecked, heart attack, high cholesterol, stroke, right? So By now, you guys have understood exactly how every disease form. And this goes fibroids, it goes to PCOS. And what I will be doing in the coming weeks, I'll be picking specific diseases and showing you guys exactly how it all ties together. Now, that is the cause. That is us finding the root of the disease. Now, when we have to fix the disease, there is also a 3-step process that we have to take. And let me bring it up here because again, I have to teach this so that when we come in, whenever you have to come in to do a consultation, or whenever you guys are dealing with your different issues, you know exactly what to look at. Okay? So let us bring this up now. Now, I'm going to want you're going to imagine with me, right? You came home from work one day, right? You came home from work one day, and let's see how good Coach Jason could draw. You came home from work one day. This is your face basin, right? This is your face basin here. And as you are coming home from work, you open the door and you notice that inside, let's put in some more colors here. Gotta make this pretty. Right, so let's put in our face basin here. So this is our pipe, right? Our faucet, left and right on. Right, so that's our face basin right there. So as you're coming home, you open your door and you realize that there is water on the floor. So there's a bunch of water all on the floor. Right, here it is right here. Water is coming out from under the door. Water is all under the floor. If you guys are enjoying these drawings and you like these, let me know. You know, I like feedback, so I can do more of these type of training, right? So you're seeing water coming out from under the floor. Upon opening the door, you go inside and you realize that the faucet is on, or the pipe is on. Also, the sink, and let's put that in red to make our points, right? Let's put that in red, right? You notice that the sink is blocked up. There's a plug in the sink. The faucet is on. It is overflowing. There's a plug in the sink and the water is flowing out on the floor. Now, I want you guys to tell me in the comments below, what would be your first action step? Now, I'm going to give you 3 options and you're going to engage with me here. You're going to give me your feedback. So these are the 3 things that has to get done. Right? I'm going to give you them not in any specific order, but you're going to tell me which one you're going to do first. So number 1, mop it up. So we're going to mop the floor. Number 2, unplug the sink. So just put unplug. And number 3, turn off the pipe. Turn off pipe. Right. So there are 3 action steps. Let me see in the comments below in what order you are going to put them. Mop up the floor, unplug the sink, turn off the faucet. Which one will you do first? Right, so the comments are going to come lighted up now. And let us see where we have here. So let me do this first. Let me erase the actual options, and then we label them as to which one we do first, which one we do second, and which one we do third. Right? So there we go. So we have them there, and let's go ahead and get them ready. So, okay. So the first one, everybody says, is to turn off the pipe. Right? That's number 1. Step number 1. Step number 2 is to unplug the sink. And then step number 3, when that is out of the way, then we will go ahead and we will mop up the floor. And that makes perfect sense, because if we do it in any other way, we will not get the same result. So using this exact method, it is exactly what we're going to do when we start your disease reversal protocol. So how do we turn off the pipe? Well, let's think of the sink example. What was the pipe bringing? The pipe was the source of the water coming into the sink, right? That was the source. So in our case, depending on what disease is, we have to find out what is the source of that disease. Let me give you some examples. So if you are suffering, let's go back to our example of cold, right? Or asthma, or those respiratory diseases. The first trigger, or one of the first obvious ways in which you look, is the air that you are breathing. This could be a massive trigger. So is the environment that you are living in moldy? Are there contaminants that are coming in that you are breathing? Are there pollens, whatever the case is, that is triggering this? So if that is the case, we have to start by turning off those, clean up our environment, right? Now, once we have that in place, the next step is going to be our unplugging. So once we stop the water coming, we're going to unplug. How do we unplug? Now, there are certain foods that will trigger a anti-inflammatory reaction. Now, if you have certain respiratory conditions, there are certain foods that will trigger or cause you to become more congested, that cause more mucus. So for example, if somebody has asthma and they're eating milk, egg, cheese, especially milk and cheese, these will help the congestion to become worse, right? So that is how you would unplug. So you start taking out the foods that amplify the underlying problem. And then when you finish these two now, then you mop it all up by using the different herbals that will help to take away this. And there is something I want to pay attention to, right? I'll come back to it. I'll just remember me. I'll come back to it. But this is the sequence we'll go. If we're dealing with diabetes, now diabetes, we're having extremely high blood pressure and consequently the body is not producing enough insulin for the condition, or the body's cells, are not as sensitive to insulin. So that is primarily going to be a dietary problem and also a movement or exercise problem. So turn off the tap in diabetes will first of all be eating the right foods, right? Let's just put eating right here. And then we want to use up the excess sugar. So the next one will be exercise. So these will be the primary actions. This is how we'll turn off the tap, because this is what is causing it to come in, especially the eating. This is what is causing the diabetic issue to carry on. So once we stop with that, we're now going to unplug with lifestyle. And the lifestyle will be the other laws of health, so like the sunlight, the pure air, etc., etc. And then after we've done these two, then we'll mop it all up with the different herbals. We're talking about things like cinnamon, Gymnea sylvester, just to name a few. All right. So what I normally find, and this is, you guys would probably agree with me as well. What I normally find is that when persons come, they say, Coach Jason, I have diabetes. What herbs should I take? Now, what is wrong with that? You are going straight to the mopping it up. It is like the sink is flooding and you are asking me, Jason, can you give me a big mop to mop up the floor? Which and while the pipe is still blasting, the sink is still unplugged, and mopping up the floor will be doing nothing compared to the magnitude of the problem that you have there, right? Now, this is what I wanted to show you guys. Remember we said, and I wanted to go back to it. Remember we said that disease is an effort of nature to free the system from conditions that result from the violation of the laws of health. So when you have a disease, your body is always trying to free itself from things that are contributing to the disease. So in the case of cold, it's trying to expel mucus through coughing, through sneezing. In the case of high blood sugar, it is trying to take the excess glucose out of the blood and force it into the cells. And it does that by, of course, forcing it into the fat cells, which is why sometimes your weight go up. And these are some of the ways in which it does it, right? So that brings me to an important point. When you are sick, one of the first things, and if you guys have been following me for any time, that you would see me recommend is always a detox. And that is why. Because you want to help the body to free the system. The body is trying to free the system, so we want to help facilitate the process. And there are a couple of channels of elimination. So your body will eliminate through your urine, right? Excretory through your urine. It would also eliminate through your colon. It would also eliminate through your skin, right? So in sweating and so forth. And it would also eliminate through your breathing. So these are some of the channels of elimination that your body uses. Breathing, skin, urine, and through your colon or feces. Okay? So whenever we deal with somebody, whatever the protocol is, if somebody coming to me to lose weight, if somebody's coming to me with diabetes, if somebody's coming to me with PCOS, I will always start with a cleanse. Why? Because I want to help the body to free the system, right? Because you're just helping the body to do this process that it's already doing. Hope that makes sense. I just thought I'll stick that in there. So that being said, once you have these two methodologies, the first one, understanding how the disease came. Once you understand the disease, understanding the reverse protocol. So the understanding the disease is learning these 5 steps. Disease is the effort of nature to free the system from conditions that result from the violation of the laws of health. Right? As long as we understand the laws of health, we now come back in alignment with these, and the rest of the conditions should clear up. Now, once we start our protocol, we are going to think of the mopping up example. The tap is blasting on. The sink is being filled up. To add matters, to add insult to injury, it is plugged up. And then all of the water is overflowing. So we just go back. When we're healing, when we're trying to reverse disease, we're going to turn off the tap first. What are those triggers? We're going to unplug the sink. What is that? That's keeping it there. And then we're going to mop it up. What herbals can we take? So we don't want to find out what herbs we can use for this. No. If we go that way, we are working in reverse. And that is why I wanted to create this video, because I think this has to be a foundation for every single person listening to my voice who has a condition, who has a disease, who is struggling in some way. Because when you understand this now, the actions that you will take, and I expect to see an improvement when persons come to our health store or our partner stores, wherever they are in the world, that they will be able to understand that, hey, the first actions are these. This disease did not just come about. And I haven't spoken about drugs, but what you would notice is that none of these conditions, let me just bring it up here because I want to bring this in. I think it's extremely important. None of these conditions, let's go back to the nutrition. So nutrition, pure proper diet, was high-fat foods, you had poor circulation, you had fatty deposits, and you end up with situations like heart attack and cholesterol. Now, none of these conditions, you don't have high cholesterol because you are lacking a statin drug. You didn't have high blood pressure because you are lacking a blood pressure drug. You did not have diabetes because you lack metformin. You had these conditions because of a violation of the laws of health. So what does that mean, Coach Jason? It means that if you try to fix these problems with drugs, then it's simple. Here's what's going to happen when you do drugs. So when you do drugs, your body will develop a new condition. And then what will happen? The system will now free itself from that condition and you will develop another disease, which is why when you start drugs, you find yourself developing other diseases and you have to take other drugs to fix that problem that started first. So you have a new disease, then you have new drugs coming, a new condition, a new system freeing, a new disease. Then you take another drug for that, a new condition, a new system freeing, a new disease, and the cycle goes on and on and on. So nowhere here was your body lacking a drug, which is why you cause that disease. And that's very important because if you use drugs to fix a problem that was not caused by drugs in the first place, then all you are doing is starting with one problem and ending up with God knows how much, right? So I just want to get that in there. Now, this is just the first of many training to come. Because I realize, if you guys are listening to me, I am here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, right? This is where I am in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And you may be in different parts of the world. But what I am realizing here in St. Vincent, you could probably tell me, what is the situation like in your country? But in St. Vincent, a lot of folks are getting sick. A lot of young people are dying. About 2 weeks ago, a classmate of mine, and I'm 37, died from cancer. A younger gentleman than myself, he lives up the road. He was in my sister's class, my younger sister's class. He died from brain tumor, right? So what we are seeing, that death is becoming or coming after the younger and younger generation. Now, I do believe that is because of certain experiments we did a couple of years ago and introduced certain things into our system that were mandatory, that we are seeing these increased deaths. But when you add lifestyle to that, then it's making it even more, it's compounding the problem. So we have a problem. Whether or not you want to accept it, we have a problem. People are dying and we have to fix this. So this is why I'm out here This is why we are championing the cause of getting persons back to the natural laws of health, because these do not have to be mandated. You don't have to pay for them. They are available to you. And I want you guys to start using them so that you can, first of all, improve your health and then improve your family and all of those you come in the influences. And when you guys listen to these videos, please do me a favor, share them around. Share them on your Facebook, share them on your WhatsApp. If you're listening to it on YouTube, wherever you listen to this, just share it around, because you do not know which part of this video somebody may need to hear to fix their condition, right? To fix their disease. And this is the first of many more trainings to come. I'll be doing some on specific diseases. And now that we have the foundation, now that we have the formula, we are going to apply the formula to different diseases. And you're going to see how, by applying this, you will be able to improve your health and, more importantly, reverse disease. Now, keep this in mind, all diseases could be reversed. I am a firm believer that every disease, cancer, AIDS, hypertension, diabetes, all diseases can be reversed. Because if it is that this disease is a effort of nature to free the system from conditions that result from the violation of the laws of health, it means that if I take this disease and I help the system freeing, I remove the condition by stopping the violation of the law of health, and that disease is supposed to go away, right? And this is things that we see from us, from our partners, natural healing through the laws of health, patients. We see persons reversing disease. I have clients who was on high blood pressure medication, who was on cholesterol medication, and we implemented these, they're off of these medications. I have clients who could have hardly move, who could have hardly touched their toes, now they are moving freely. Right? And this is not something I'm telling you from reading in a book. This is something I see every day when we work with our clients. So I know that every disease could be reversed. And if you or someone you know is living with a disease, a terminal condition, a situation, I don't want you to lose hope. I want you to fall back in love with the laws of health. I want you to understand them, harness their power, learn them, apply them, so that you and that person could improve your health. Hey guys, it was definitely fun. It was definitely fun being out here doing this live broadcast. It's something I knew I had to do for a while, but it's just that, listen, I am just seeing too much now, and I have to create this video. So do us a favor, let's get this message around. We'll be doing a lot more of these. Now, if you guys want to be in the know whenever we have these lives, just shoot me over a message on WhatsApp or follow us on these channels. Whether you're watching it on Facebook, you're watching this on WhatsApp, you're watching this on YouTube, follow us there, hit the notification bell, hit the follow, so that whenever we create these videos, you will be the first to know, and you will know. In fact, we'll be sending out a form where you guys could just drop your emails and your phone numbers. So whenever we have these training, we'll send a message out. Hey, we have a free training coming up on cholesterol. We have a training coming up on PCOS. So you guys will know exactly when the training is going on, and record everyone so you could come back and watch it in case you missed it live. Anyways, guys, you have yourselves a blessed day. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for your attention, right? And in learning how to improve your health, reverse the diseases. Have yourselves a blessed day, and I will see you guys on our next video training.